I'm dreaming of white Christmas.
But at this point, it looks like that would be a Christmas miracle. We will just have to settle for this special holiday episode of the What Is Up podcast. We all know Bubba is the unofficial Christmas guy of Northeast Iowa and has been in full-on Clark Griswold mode since Thanksgiving. Don't believe me? Just drive by this dude's house. The lighting display can be seen from the other end of Main Street. And while you're at it, be sure not to miss the major award that he got in the front yard. But Christmas isn't all about extravagant lighting displays. Bubba tends to get a little sentimental as we get closer to hearing the bells on Christmas Day. So he's got the whole family together for this episode to share everything they love about Christmas. And while they're at it, a few things they don't. So put another log on that warm, crackling fire. Pour yourself a nice glass of eggnog and curl up on the couch with a warm blanket as Bubba reminds us all that it's a wonderful life.
Merry Christmas, all you What Is Up fans. You know I'm a Christmas guy, so I had to do a holiday episode of the podcast. And I got the whole family with me. Well, everybody but Timothy. We had a little bit of a contractual breakdown of negotiations there. He wouldn't make an appearance without proper compensation. But I do have his notes, so I've got all his opinions. But other than him, I've got Sarah, I've got Bridget, I've got JJ, I've got Grace. And we're going to share a lot of our favorite memories, traditions around the holidays with you. And we're also going to talk Christmas music, the songs that we love, and then those ones we just can't stand. You know, those ones that we hate, the ones you just look for that skip button as soon as you hear it come on. So, and then, of course, towards the end, we're going to talk about our favorite Christmas movies. I could never narrow mine down to like a list. You know, I love them all. I mean, I am Clark Griswold, so it's going to be tough to do that. But before we get to all that stuff, I really wanted to give a big thank you to everybody for your continued support this year. We started this thing like towards the end of summer, and like I've got a lot of encouraging words, text messages, comments from people. It means a lot to me. Some of you have made it like really clear to me and Sarah that this podcast actually encourages you, which is the goal of it. You know, it is kind of threefold. What is up? It sounds like it's just, you know, hey, people talking, what is up? But it's also about some of the crazy things that are going on in the world today that kind of make us think, man, what is up? And then the other thing is, you know, hey, you want answers, you better start looking up to God, because God's word, it gives us all the answers. So, but when I know you appreciate it, man, that encourages me. Some of you guys have told me, you know, just the topics we discuss, which aren't always my choosing. I give the guests a lot of topics to choose from, but I let them, you know, pick what they want to talk about, and then I'll jump in and share my opinions on it too. But you guys, you've said you like some of the topics. We've got way more to go. You've enjoyed some of people's personal testimonies, you know, some of that hard stuff and overcoming hardship, and just talking truthfully about issues. Even if we disagree, you know, it seems like in our culture today, people say, well, if you disagree, you know, we have to be enemies and all that stuff. And I think you're starting to see, no, we don't have to buy into that. We can disagree. We can talk about why we disagree from each one of our points of view, and we can still actually be friends. So when you guys share that with me, that like you appreciate that, and like that was my goal, like that's a big deal to me. It really is. I don't want to get all sentimental, but it is the holidays. So, but to do this podcast, it's more work than I anticipated. It really is. So your appreciation, the fact that it impacts you, that's really what's keeping me going. So I noticed some of you guys have been posting it on your social media and sharing it. And I've tried to give shout-outs and stuff like that. Amanda Gibson, AJ's Camper Rentals, Sandy's, she was doing some stuff on social media. John Westergreen, he really did some publicity there in the beginning. Scott and Haley Broden, Ryan and Mary Peterson. I also get texts from Ryan pretty frequently. So Earl and Jane Canfield with the Canfield Family Farms, they constantly let me know that they appreciate it. Jen Hughes, she just got a little care package in the mail. She's been pretty outspoken about her support for the podcast. Zach Summerlot, Rad Dupre, the guy who does the voice for the intros. Like, at some point, all of you guys have said something to me or shared it on social media, and like that means a lot to me. So I also get shout outs on the Talk of the Tribe podcast from Zach and Riker. That is not beneath me. I don't care if they're high schoolers. I appreciate that. It's a big deal. We're all in the same ballpark trying to do the same thing. So I appreciate those guys. Melanie Bazinski at the Fairbank Islanders. She ran a pretty flattering article. I mean, I wrote it and submitted it, but she did choose to run it. So I'm appreciative of that. And I'm trying to do my part, but it's really you guys helping me by sharing it on social media. That's the only way this thing's going to grow. And it is growing slowly. I'd like it to grow a lot faster, but it is. So continue to share it. If you didn't share it, we would have never reached this one listener that we have in Australia. That's right, Australia. We are a global podcast. We can look at the analytics, and it shows that we have less than 1% of our audience is in Australia. So that's pretty cool. And I'm not trying to make this thing into a big money-making venture. I mean, if that's what God turns it into, great, I'll take it, and I will leave the factory tomorrow. But it takes a minimum of 1,000 views per 60 days to be able to monetize your podcast. We average about 200 to 300 every 60 days. So it's not happening anytime soon. We just hit 1,000 total views of all the episodes combined just recently, and I'm fine with that. If it ever blows up, it's going to be because God wants to do something with it, not because of me. So for now and going into next year, the goal is still the same. I want to encourage people first and foremost. I want to share some truth about issues that we're facing in our culture. I want to get people talking and sharing and thinking, maybe even debating ideas and opinions again, and realize that that's okay to do, and then have a lot of fun along the way. What I want to do next year is an episode where all I do is read comments and answer questions from the email inbox. So you guys have got to start sending me stuff to the whatisuppodcast@gmail.com. Send me your opinions. Send me people you'd like to have on sometime. Send me your thoughts on issues we talked about. You could share anything. Just send me something in that inbox, and then I can do a whole episode or maybe just a segment of just reading emails from the inbox. So just send me whatever you got on your mind. Questions, comments, opinions, future topics. If you have things that we haven't covered yet that you want me to cover, go ahead and send me those. Or if you enjoy this holiday episode, maybe you can tell me some of your favorite Christmas memories and traditions, or maybe your favorite or least favorite music and movies, and then I can share that as well. So, okay, without further ado, the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's get to the holiday episode of the What Is Up podcast. Grace, we're going to slay this, aren't we? Guys, I'm running a little high now because I just found out today that my team won the first annual gingerbread house decorating contest at Lifeline. So the Christmas spirit is on another level right now. To me, if you guys have listened to all these episodes, you could go back and you would understand that for me, the holiday season doesn't begin until after Halloween. You know how I feel about Halloween. Not a holiday, but we don't need to get into it. So let's start with Thanksgiving. Our tradition in our family since 2020, I know everyone hates to think about 2020, but I loved what it did for us. It was great. In 2020, we had Thanksgiving dinner at our house. I smoked a turkey. I found out that's one of the 2 or 3 things I can actually do well in this world. And then we also had a flag football game where I painted lines out. I measured it out in the field next to our house, and we had a pretty good flag football game. And so we've been doing that since 2020. But growing up, for me, in the South, we'd all get together and we'd have gumbo and all the cousins and us, we'd all play. And then the adults, they were doing their own thing. They were usually drinking the finest wine out of a box that Walmart had to offer. And For any of you who've ever heard about it, there is an infamous VHS tape of the 1988 Thanksgiving. My goodness, there was a 7-year-old me who took his shirt off and danced for everybody, and I probably got it from my crazy aunts and grandmas that were dancing on the table. It's, Thanksgiving in the South, it's just different. Sarah, what about you? Do you got special memories from your childhood, like Thanksgiving memories growing up?
Well, Thanksgiving memories, just mostly getting together, both sides of the family. I would love when we would go up to Minnesota, to my grandparents' house up there, and the adults would all play cards.
When did you guys move to Iowa from Minnesota? Or you were born in Minnesota, right? Or no?
No, I was like 5. I think like 5. Because I have pictures of me as a toddler, but I know I started kindergarten at Dunkerton. But for Thanksgiving, I would say my favorite memory was when we would go up to my grandma and grandpa Broughton's in Minnesota, because we didn't go see them as much as other family, and all the adults would play games, play poker, and they always had a lot of snow, and we would just hang out, eat, and everybody joked around, and there was lots of laughing, and it was just a good time.
Good memories, yeah. So the same as mine. You got the extreme north up there, extreme south, but it was basically the same kind of stuff. Do you remember seeing anybody drinking wine out of a box?
Not out of a box, out of bottles.
Oh, wow. Okay, so they were a little more fancy up in the North Country. Yeah.
Homemade wine.
Homemade wine, too. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why, but a lot of my family get-togethers, I remember seeing boxes of wine, even at my mom's wedding. I remember seeing that. So, okay. But then, so after we got married, what I liked about Thanksgiving was going to your grandma and grandpa's, and it was the best because, their house wasn't big, and, if none of us had kids yet, or maybe Bridget was little, Amy had, we were the only ones who really had kids at the time or whatever, like everyone could still fit at grandma and grandpa's, and just after Thanksgiving dinner, we'd all sit around and pass around the Black Friday ads and stuff, because back then there was no Thanksgiving night Black Friday sales. Like everything was closed on Thanksgiving. There were doorbusters Black Friday morning, and that was it. And that was just a simpler time. And I've always joked that if I ever run for office or something like that, I would try and pass legislation to leave Thanksgiving Day sacred. No shopping, no sales, no nothing. Enjoy Thanksgiving and shop till you drop on Friday. That's fine. So, okay. Moving on, I did have some old Omega memories that I wanted to share because, mainly because I just want to get one more new listener. Ryan Landau. Yes, I'm talking about you. This was a coworker of mine at Omega, and as soon as Thanksgiving would get over, he's just like me. We'd start getting into the Christmas spirit, and we'd start waiting for 104.5 to start playing Christmas music and things like that on the radio. And Ryan, he's just my little Asian buddy. He was Mr. Taekwondo. He was really into that, But yet he's just like me, just another Christmas guy. And he would always, it sounds weird, but he would always talk about, I can't wait to get off work and go home and make some hot chocolate and then get on the couch with a blanket and watch a Christmas movie. I'm just like, yeah, real tough guy, aren't you? And then factory workers, it just does not take much to make us laugh. We find just about anything humorous. And one of the memories that Ryan is going to remember and be embarrassed that I share is that, we were in our early 20s and we'd be working, yet we would sing these Christmas songs in our Arnold Schwarzenegger voice. And no, I'm not going to do it, but Ryan, you remember doing it. I'm sure you do. So he said if I mentioned him on the podcast and shared some of those silly memories from Omega, that he would listen in. So that's how I get new listeners right there. Okay. Some of our family traditions that we've started, it goes way back. Before we even had Bridget, it didn't matter. We were living in the trailer or whatever it was. I'd try and, go Clark Griswold on the house and put lights up. And I learned to make the task easier by doing a little bit of decorating each weekend in November rather than just waiting till after Thanksgiving. Then you got to work the whole weekend, and no, that's not fun. I like to just turn them on the night of Thanksgiving. And then on Black Friday, we would go Black Friday shopping. Then when we would get home, we'd go out to the Wapsie Pines Tree Farm, pick out our tree. And then after that, a week later, it'd be first season shotgun. And oh my gosh, we could write a book about all the stories and memories we've got going deer hunting with all the guys on my wife's side of the family. So, but now it's kind of changed a little bit. We still go hunting or whatever, but my mom comes up. She cooks for all of us for a few days during deer season, and we all spend a lot more time in the bathroom because apparently all those dishes, my goodness, Mom likes to use butter and heavy whipping cream in all of her recipes, and it's good stuff, good Cajun food. But yeah, it's good. It's only once or twice a year, so. And then we had a nice long stretch there where deer season would end on Wednesday, and when the kids were little, we'd head up north for vacation. Most people go south in the winter, not us. We'd go up to Minnesota. We'd hang out at the Mall of America for a couple days. Sometimes we'd go visit family up there if we had time. We'd always stay at Sarah's grandma's in Rochester, Minnesota on the way up. And Bridget, you remember this. Where was your favorite place to eat at in Rochester?
Denny's.
Denny's. We would get all excited to go eat at Denny's in Rochester, and then we would do something Sarah liked doing when she was younger. We'd drive around afterwards. What would we be doing after that? We'd have Grandma take us around, and
we would drive by the lakes and the apartment buildings that had the Arabians and stalk them.
I wasn't going there.
No, the rich houses.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
No,
Okay.
don't cut anything out.
Okay, well, we did that too. We went around and looked at the Arabians because there's a lot of them up there because of the Mayo Clinic.
You'll have to forgive her, folks. She's a little uncultured.
And then, but yes, so during holiday season when we would go there, we would go around like the doctor's houses and look at all the mansions and drive up the hills and just look at all their fancy houses and decorations and try and look in their windows if it was dark, but they had lights on inside.
Yeah. Whose was the one house that it wasn't quite gated, but it was a big deal or something? You drove up to it, but it had like signs up and stuff. Or maybe you could rent it or something, but it wasn't. I can't. You know which one? It kind of overlooked the city of Rochester. It was up high.
Yeah, I can't remember what
was the deal with that. Grandma will know, I guess.
Yeah, she'll know.
It's like the something house. Or whatever.
I think they give tours and stuff, but nobody can just drive real close
to
it.
Yeah, so we'd go up to Rochester, we'd hang out with Grandma for a day and do all that stuff, and then we'd go to Mall of America, and I don't know who enjoyed it more, these kids or me. The hotel, the pool, Nickelodeon Universe right there in the Mall of America, and the way me and Sarah had it planned is our kids are almost all 2 years apart, except for Grace. So there was always a kid that was short enough that they had to have an adult ride the rides with them. And so me and Sarah never had to buy a wristband to ride these rides. We had to accompany at least one of our kids all the time. So it was really, really fun times. And I remember that first year, I think it was the very first year we went, we had never vacationed before together. And so, we just we get up there or whatever, and we didn't realize, if you don't bring food with you, you're eating out all the time. I think it was Pepsi Max. They had a vendor there at the mall, and they were just giving it must have been a new product at the time or whatever. So they let you have a free can or something. And then one day, we were just ready to leave kind of for the day for lunch or whatever. And they just tried giving us more and more. And Sarah was like, well, yeah, let's take it. We'll put it in the fridge at the hotel. So we got a refrigerator full of this Pepsi Max, and we just kept drinking it can after can after can, just thinking, hey, we're saving money. Probably wasn't the best, but let's see. What else? Oh, yeah. Okay, this is the good one. Wake up, James. Wake up. So JJ was the naughty one. JJ was so naughty, we never found out what any of our kids, what their sex was going to be. And we kind of wanted to with the last one. But JJ was so bad, we said, if they say it's going to be a boy, I don't think, we could stomach that. He was just a naughty little kid. So you turn him loose at the Mall of America, and, Sarah's so nice. She lets them all pick out a nice little plushie from the Disney store before the Disney turned weird. And what does JJ do with his nice little Mickey Mouse plushie? We're walking around the 3rd floor, and he throws it right off the railing, lands on like an awning on the 2nd or 1st floor, so you can't get to it. You'd have to get Mall of America maintenance to get an extension ladder and get it. So me and Sarah talked to somebody at customer service, and they said, yeah, just give us your name, give us your address. Eventually, they'll get it down, and we'll send it to you. And we thought, yep, there we go. Nice. I don't know how much you think that thing cost. It was a lot to us, I'm sure. And we thought, nope, we're never going to see it. Never going to see it. And sure enough, it showed up. And we're like, we're going back. And we did. We went back once or twice a year for I don't know how many years. So, but what do you guys got for memories? That kind of stuff. Vacationing, Thanksgiving, Mall of America, that kind of time frame. Not so much really into Christmas yet, but kind of that stuff.
Okay, well, going back, like you were saying earlier with the Christmas lights, I think the last few years, if not longer, I've been helping you with them before, and I think that's always fun to do. I don't really do anything with the lights, but all the like decorations outside, I mostly just help you carry them out, but I still think that's fun. But then another memory from the Mall of America is that there was one ride there specifically that was one of my favorites ever.
Oh.
Do you know what I'm going to say?
No, I
or
thought
no?
you were going another route with that.
Oh, what did you think?
Oh,
the haunted one?
Crying.
No, not that one. That was, do you want to tell that or?
They just had one of those rides where you sit in the thing and you grab the little pistol or whatever and you shoot at all these things as you travel through this little haunted house. And I think it was you, me, and Timothy. And me and Timothy were having a blast, and Mom takes a picture when we come out and we're still in the cart, and you're like just bawling, crying.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was scared. But that was like, that had to have been like our first year we were there because I was pretty young. And then they also had like a Wonder Pets ride there where it would kind of make you go up and down a little bit, but it was definitely for younger kids, so it wasn't too intense. But then there's like an extreme version of that ride. And so I think our second year there, maybe third, I wanted to try that. And so I think me and Timothy did it together because I probably wouldn't have wanted to do it by myself. And that's called the Splatosphere. And that is one of my favorite rides there. It's just one that brings you all the way up and just drops you. So like your stomach just gets that feeling.
It's like the opposite of the space shot at Adventureland.
Yeah, like that. But there's pictures or like a video of us or something on it for the first time. And you can just tell we are like laughing our heads off. Our heads go flying back and forward as we come up and down. So I just remember that. That was so fun. And then you guys would also let us, for the first few years, go to the Build-A-Bear shop that was in the mall because we don't have one near us anywhere really. And so I still have like my Build-A-Bears from when we did that.
Grace, you got some memories?
Yeah, I have a couple. So my first one is also at Mall of America, and I don't really remember this one, but like I know what happened. It was when I stole from the Crayola store.
Ah, Sticky Fingers.
Yeah, that's where I got that nickname from. That was not the only time, also, just saying. But
Wow. Did you get away with it the other times? Because I think me and Mom are only aware of one time.
no, there's one other time. Every time. How many other times?
What else did you steal?
The two little Lego characters from.
From
Yeah.
Tammy and Chad. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. When? When did I steal a Kinder Egg?
Okay.
Anyway, but that, just always think about that story. It's just so funny to me.
Yeah. You stole from a store in the mall, and then we make you go back and give it back, thinking the workers were going to kind of teach you a lesson and whatever, and they just acted like, or I just remember me and Sarah were not very happy with their response. Like, okay, it's a teachable moment there. They blew it.
And then my second one is at the cabin when we went there, which was really fun. I would usually share a room with Bridget, and it was always really fun because, like, I can remember what it looked like there. But one night, I had gone into, like, your room, like, in the middle of the night, just walked in there just to sleep in there when Bridget was, like, almost sharing a bed with me. So I just thought that was kind of funny. Okay, cut that out.
You should not walk into your parents' bedroom in the middle of the night. Whew. That could be dangerous. You could see something you don't want to see. Hey, we better clean it up. This is a family show. JJ, you got any memories? You got more, Grace?
I have one more good one. So
the cabin she's talking about, that's not so much at Thanksgiving, early December. We would go there with Sarah's grandpa after Christmas because I'd always have a week or two off. That's Honey Creek Resort at Lake Rathbun in Iowa, and we wouldn't stay at the hotel part. We'd always get one of the cabins out there and walk trails, do some sledding, do some stuff at the lodge, stuff like that. It's pretty nice.
Okay, so my last one is when Dad would, like, take me on the snowmobile and, like, drive me around and stuff. I was always so scared because he always went, like, really, really fast. And I would hang on to him and, like, be praying in my head. I'd be like, God, please protect me. Don't let me die today. Like, I know he's going fast, but please don't let me die today. Yeah.
I mean, riding on the back of a snowmobile is a little easier, but I remember riding on the back of motorcycles when I was young. Like, it feels like you're going to die. It feels like you're going to fall off and you're going to die. So, JJ, you got any memories? That kind of time frame? The mall? Early Christmas?
I think God is kind of like cursing me right now for throwing that Mickey Mouse doll off. Because this year and last year, he's made me sick for the week of Christmas. It's kind of ruined my holidays. But
you're sick right now.
Yeah.
And we're like, what?
A week
6 days
before.
away.
Yeah, I said the week of Christmas.
Yeah, you'll be 100% by the time Christmas gets here this year.
That's what we said last year.
If you're still sick 6 days from now, when Mom said you tested negative for everything, you're just sick, then yeah, you'll be fine.
All right, but I do have a memory. It was at the cabin, and it was when our aunt, like, slid down a hill, and they kind of just, like, dropped off.
Yes, Tanya. Yeah, we were sledding behind the lodge, right? And there was, like, a retaining wall with, like, probably a 6-foot drop. And you could sled, and you weren't supposed to do that right there or whatever, but that's where it was the steepest, and she went and hit it. And I was just joking because I go, oh, man, I hope I'm the first one that gets to go down it. And she's like, I'll beat you or whatever. And I'm just like, no, you're going to break your back. And sure enough, she goes off that thing, slams down, and the worker comes out and says, yeah, guys, we better not do that. Yeah, I'm surprised you remember that. Wow, that was good choice, Tan. Good one. Okay.
Wait, I have
You got more from that kind of?
Yeah, I didn't know we were getting to that yet. I have something else from the cabin.
Okay.
Okay, and then another memory from the cabin. I have two. Okay, so the same year that Tan slid down this hill and just dropped, we also, me, Tan, and Dad, I don't know if you remember this, but behind our cabin,
Oh, yeah. Timber sledding.
Yeah, we went timber sledding, and we just totally made up, I think. I don't think that's real. But the three of us took turns sledding down the hill that was behind our cabin, which is full of trees.
Which went into the woods.
And there was, like, it went into a ditch almost.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember, and you kind of just had to try and dodge the trees as best you could, which you can't fully. But I remember you went once, or maybe it was Tan, but I thought it was you, and you went down, were going fast, hit the ditch, and then, like, went back up because you were going so fast.
Yeah.
Oh, that was funny. We only did that the 1 year. And then, so another memory from the cabin was when Jessica Dupre, who is the wife of Brad Dupre.
Before she was married.
Yes, before she was married, we were already there. and we were like one day in, or it was our first day there or whatever, and she basically invited herself on the trip. And so she drove down that day and then stayed with us one night, I think, right? Stayed with us one night and just did everything with us. And so that was so fun. We were all glad she came with us, but it was just funny.
It was fun,
Yeah.
but Rad, we're glad you showed up in her life, buddy. Because, yeah, that was kind of different. But we're always open and accepting. That's fine. So, anybody else got anything around that kind of time? Or we'll keep moving. I know one other thing we did. We'll get into some church traditions. We got a lot of those. And no, don't change the channel. This is not boring. But kind of along that same line, we'd always do this thing in Old called the Festival of Trees. Old Time Christmas. That's in Old. I'm talking Independence. Sometimes we do the Old Time Christmas in Old. I didn't mean Old. Yeah, that we did that a few times, but that wasn't that big of a deal. I don't remember. It was cold and you had to be outside the whole time. This Festival of Trees in Independence at the train depot or whatever. They'd have all the local businesses donate like a small little tree and decorate it, and then you'd go in and you'd bid on it or whatever for like the last few weeks of November. And they'd raise money for the depot or for the food pantry or something like that. Okay. And so they'd let you know like the first weekend in December if you won something. And we always tried to make a habit of inviting somebody, from church, like an older person. And so there was quite a few years there. We remember grabbing somebody from church and taking them. And it's always kind of fun hanging out with those people that are a little bit older, because they don't have a filter and they'll let you know how they feel. So we got to know some of the older people in our church a little bit better when we threw them in our vehicle and took them over there. One tradition we've started, I don't know how long ago it was, maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. Everything's kind of a blur anymore, but there had to have been a year where I really dropped the ball when it came to Sarah's stocking stuffers, and she let me know that like, hey, if you're not gonna get me anything in my stocking, let me know. I'll get myself some stuff. That way, the little kids, they don't wonder why everyone got something in their stocking and Mom didn't. So from that year on, I enlisted Bridget in the beginning, and I said, listen, I'm one of those weird guys who loves to like shop on Christmas Eve or the day before Christmas Eve. I like that last second shopping. There's just tons of excitement out there at the malls and in the Walmarts and things like that. So I enjoy that. So we started this little tradition. In the beginning, it was just me and Bridget. We'd go out on Christmas Eve or the day before Christmas Eve, and we'd pick up just the little tiny things. I can shop for big gifts. I know how to do that. I enjoy that. But, picking out little lip glosses or, little makeup things or, just little tiny things that a woman would like in her stocking, I'm not good at that. So Bridget would go with me in the beginning, and then the last few years, I don't know how many years, it's been, me, Bridget, and Grace. It just kind of turned into a dad and the girls thing, and we'd go out on Christmas Eve or the day before. We'd get all this stuff for Sarah's stocking, and then we'd end up eating somewhere. I think the first year we stopped at IHOP, and it was all festive and everything. But since then, we have landed on Village Inn in Cedar Falls, and it's kind of like an old school looking diner type, but man, they got, when you walk in, right on the back wall in big letters, it says pancakes, pie, and people. And it's just kind of a down home, real, it's our kind of place. And the last few years, we've noticed we've had the same waiter every time. His name's Christian, or on his name tag it's Chris, his name's Christian. And so last year we said, we called him over and we said, hey, I don't know if you realize this, but the last few years we've been coming in here on Christmas Eve or around Christmas Eve. You've been our waiter. We're out finishing up our Christmas shopping and you're here working. So he actually pulled up a chair and, we kind of talked to him, about what he's doing. He's a student at UNI. He's changed his major a couple times, so it's taken him a little longer to get done than normal. And we really got to know him a little bit. So it's been a fun tradition for us to do that together, and just one more thing to look forward to as Christmas gets closer and closer. So really something me and the girls enjoy doing. Let's see. Church traditions. Church traditions. Now, you guys know, I've said it before, the Lord chose not to bless me with a beautiful singing voice, but the Bible does say make a joyful noise. So I enjoy singing with the worship band in December because I love the songs we sing, those Christmas carols, but I'm just not good at it. But I like to sing them, so I do. And then just last weekend, we did our little tradition where we go caroling around Dunkerton, and then we have dinner and stuff, and we play games afterwards. And let me tell you, that is when you get to know people from your church. When you sit around and do things like that, people start showing you who they really are and things like that. And it was just real fun. So I was taking notes. What was that? That was Sunday. We were caroling. And so I'm just taking notes the whole time saying, oh, guys, this is going on the podcast. This is going on the podcast. So like something Earl Canfield said, he goes, here at First Baptist Church, we like to take our worship seriously, but we never take ourselves too seriously. And, that's kind of like a family atmosphere. And this year, I think, we had the Canfields, Hannah's boyfriend, Harley. We had Calvin E. Smith. We had the Mushes. We had Ryan and Tammy. We had Tyler Summerlot, and then me and Bridget. I think it was a big group. And some of the notes I took to remember to mention on the podcast was we started this thing where instead of just going to people's houses, when we walk past the Quick Star in Dunkerton, we go right on in and we sing One Christmas Carol. And Hannah Canfield is so embarrassed by us doing that she just goes and hides. And Bridget sometimes kind of went with her, but yeah, they don't like us doing that, but we do it. We spread Christmas cheer inside the Quick Star. And then one of the funnier moments, we were playing games afterwards, and Ryan starts making these Amish jokes. I think somehow we got on that subject. I don't know if it was because of the game we were playing or what. He starts making all these Amish jokes, not knowing that Hannah's boyfriend, Harley, grew up Amish. And we all kept laughing harder and harder. And he was thinking it's because he was funny, but we were laughing harder and harder because we knew he didn't understand that there is an ex-Amish sitting right there. It was really quite funny. And then Elijah, I gotta tell this one. We were talking about the podcast or whatever, and I tell him how bad my YouTube stuff is because I don't do video. I just do these slideshows. And he goes, Bubba, I've had a YouTube channel for 4 years, and it's still garbage. And he was just dead serious. It was quite funny. So... But some of the other church memories that I have, I remember Pastor Tommy and Kay, they'd always have an open house, and they'd have people just stop in whenever they wanted this one night in December. And Sarah, do you remember what my favorite thing that Kay made was?
Chocolate-covered cherries.
Homemade chocolate-covered cherries. Kay Rucker, if you're listening to this, I'm sure those things fit in the mail somehow. And Pastor Tommy, he'd always have that Yule log on his big screen TV, the fake fire or whatever. Oh, man, good times. And then at FBC, we always do a Christmas Eve service, and I think our church has been around for like 150 years plus, and so they can document this stuff going way back. We still do that old school candle lighting ceremony. We still do goodie bags with popcorn balls and candy and fruit inside of them in the brown paper sack. Most years, we would have a big Christmas production with lots of, lines and parts and all kinds of stuff, lots of memories, and it was really fun. We had one year where we really got lots of people involved. We even got Sarah involved, and Sarah's not stage trained. She never played Pippin in the high school play or anything like that. She had her lines, and she warned the ladies on stage with her that, hey, when we get out there, if I miss my line, just go on without me. And when you watch that video of that, she gets out like 1 or 2 lines, and she's done. And there's a long pause, and then the girls just move on without her. And there's just all kinds of funny memories. I played a Mexican kid named Pablo in one year that everyone still laughs about. We did one where we kind of combined It's a Wonderful Life and A Christmas Story, and I think Timothy wore the pink bunny suit from A Christmas Story in that one. Was that Timothy? I think it was Timothy, yeah. Yeah, so we had all kinds of church memories and stuff around Christmas time, Christmas Eve. Do you guys got any stuff as far as like church goes? I know we talked a little bit about caroling and things like that, but Christmas Eve plays, programs.
Yeah, well, the Christmas Eve service is something I don't think there's ever really been a year that I haven't gone that I couldn't remember anyway. And those are always so special, and I enjoy that a lot. And like you said, we've done a lot of plays and like dramas, skits, and things like that. So I don't know. I've been part of those since I could talk, and if we do them ever. So like I've been a narrator. I think I was an angel twice. One of the times was when Mom was like had a line talking about me, and I think she forgot to say it, and that's that time we were talking about when they just had to keep going without her. But yeah, something else that I love about those nights and when when we used to do the plays is just being backstage with everyone, because we'd all be whispering back and forth and just joking around or going over lines last minute, and that was always just so fun, and I remember that really well. And then, of course, this candlelight ceremony that you said, we kind of wrap up the night with that, and that's just always been special, too.
Yeah.
I have one thing. I mean, this is, like, that night I loved, but right before I went on was so stressful because, so 2 people were gone, and I was, like, the last one besides them to go, so I had to pick up their lines too, and they're like paragraphs, so I had to like read that like 5 minutes before we went on, and I was so scared, but I did really good.
Good. I'm glad you think so. Good. JJ, and I think all of you guys at one point played a baby Jesus, or a couple of you guys did. No?
I did.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yeah, you did. I remember because Aaron Reardon was Mary that year. Yeah.
So, yeah, I played baby Jesus one year. And then the next year, I was demoted to a sheep. So.
Yeah, you
pretty
got
cool.
demoted.
One year, I went caroling, and I shoved a rock in someone's mailbox. I was just reminded of that by the Canfields the last Sunday.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. Yep. And Matthew, they said I just shoved a rock in a mailbox.
How old were you?
I don't even remember this. I don't remember going caroling ever.
Okay. Must have been pretty young.
It definitely happened.
Okay. Yeah, Timothy had a memory. This would have been more along the lines of our vacation and stuff like that. When we'd go to Sarah's grandma's, she had a upstairs room that had one of them old console TVs, the big wooden console, sat on the floor, but it was like a TV with a coffee table top. It was just this ginormous thing. And she had a Nintendo. And Timothy that's one of his favorite memories was, me, Sarah, and Grandma would be downstairs, and the kids would all go upstairs, and they'd be playing on that Nintendo. And I mean, they're little. They're probably, 4, 5, 6, 7, all around that age. And Grandma would always be on them. No sliding down the stairs. You'll pull the carpet up, And I stole one from you.
Yeah, you still.
Yeah, that was Timothy's. No sliding down the stairs.
I remember when we were going through all of our home videos, there's a video of like James, Timothy, and Bridget all in that room, and like we had walked in, or Dad had walked in with the camera, and Dad goes, "What are you guys doing?" And Bridget goes, "We're playing Hungy Hungy Hippos." You said that. No, that's what you said.
Okay. We're getting closer and closer to getting into the big debate about Christmas music and Christmas movies, but we're going to wrap up this part of the episode here with just general Christmas memories right here. We kind of did the whole Thanksgiving into the first week of December, all that stuff, getting our tree, Black Friday, vacation, all that stuff. We did church memories, all that good stuff. But now this one's just going to be Christmas memories. So I know when me and Sarah got married, we were living in the apartments in Dunkerton. We had no money. I mean, we didn't do anything. I remember one year I tried to get Sarah a 5-disc CD changer from, I think it was Target, on a Black Friday sale. And I walked in there when they opened the doors. I was way at the back of the line. I walked straight into electronics. They were all gone. I turned around, walked right back out. I didn't know that on Black Friday they set out like pallets of hot items or whatever. So, yeah, I actually didn't get it, but I think your Aunt Lisa had got like 5 of them, so she let us buy one of them. One of the other memories was when we were living in the trailer. We went from apartment to trailer to house. Okay, that's called paying your dues, working your way up. That's what we did. And so we had this trailer in Dunkerton, and I had put Christmas lights on it, and we've got it on home videos. I was just super annoying. We were watching my niece, and she was probably, what, 2, 3, no attention span whatsoever. And I'm holding her, trying to get her to acknowledge the lights. It's on the home video. And I just kept saying, Jasmine, are the lights pretty? And she's not looking at me. She's looking at Sarah. She's licking a candy cane. And so I just kept saying it. Jasmine, are the lights pretty? Are the lights pretty? Like, I have to get the approval of a 2-year-old. It's pretty embarrassing. But, when you take your exterior illumination seriously, you want people to appreciate it. Yeah, I vaguely remember putting together some plastic toy shopping cart for Bridget when she was probably, 2, 3 years old, something like that. One of the coolest memories I got was, I don't know, Bridget, you were probably 5, 6, somewhere in there. We were going to go see that when Disney redid A Christmas Carol. We were going to go see that. And I think we hit the train in Jessup, so we were a little bit late. So we didn't catch it when it started or whatever. So we had to see like the next one. The next one that was coming on right after that was in 3D. So your tickets cost a bunch more or whatever. And you got to wear those big glasses. We sat in there and were blown away by what it looks like when you watch a movie in 3D. And I mean, this was, I don't know how long ago. I mean, before 2010, it was just awesome. I'd go see another 3D movie sometime if there was a good one that was out there. But on that same line, you know how some families, they do Christmas tradition is they go see a movie on Christmas Day. Well, whatever that was, a couple years ago when they did that Kurt Warner story, and they made a movie about him called American Underdog. Me and Bridget and Timothy and Grace, did you go? James went. We're like, oh, we're going to go see that because once we get up and do presents, we're done. We're going to go see American Underdog on Christmas Day, see what all the fuss is about, people doing this. Oh, my goodness. I'll never do it again. I will never go see a movie on Christmas Day. It was packed, and people almost got into a fight over their seats. It was so scary. This dude sitting a few rows in front of us kept getting involved in a situation that was happening way at the front of the theater. He had no business even getting involved, and he kept raising his voice and arguing about the seats and the tickets, and it was very uncomfortable. And I remember thinking, yeah, I'm never bringing my kids back to a movie on Christmas Day. Sarah, you got any Christmas memories from around it? Just any general Christmas memories?
Well, I just always enjoyed the traditions that we did from when I was little, as far as opening presents. No.
Everyone's ready to get into the music and the movies part. Let's just wrap it up. Come on. Okay. No.
What? Here,
she can't do it.
I'm not looking at you guys.
It's okay.
Well, for my favorite traditions.
Do we need to go to another room?
Oh my goodness. What are we talking about?
Just any Christmas memories.
Okay.
Not necessarily vacation or, the beginning between things like Christmas traditions or memories.
So my memory goes back to when we were dating, and
This should be good.
I was over at your house, and we were downstairs in your little living room area, and your mother called you up.
I don't think we're doing this one, are we?
And your mother called you upstairs, And so I was just sitting there watching TV or whatever, and I could just hear you getting yelled at about getting caught opening or peeking in a Christmas present. And I was like, felt so bad, but was like so embarrassed for you. So I just acted like I didn't hear it. And when you came downstairs, we just didn't talk about it until like years later. And then we brought it up and talked about how, yeah, you were like a teenager and you got caught opening your presents.
You guys have no idea. Sarah just took like 10 tries at getting this story out, and we kept having to cut it. And I had no idea she was telling that story. So kind of really regretting that. I should have just, maybe I'll leave all that stuff in now just for that one. Yeah, I did.
But as far as other memories or traditions, for me, my favorite tradition is baking with the girls, making cutout cookies and just Christmas goodies, delivering them to our neighbors, giving them to friends, and going and getting our tree after the day after Thanksgiving, a real tree, because we never got real when I was a kid. We put together an artificial one every year, which was fun too, but getting a real one is much more fun. And then just watching the kids every morning opening their presents, and then Christmas Eve doing the same tradition from when I was little and letting everybody open a present on Christmas Eve.
Good. Very good. Yeah, sometimes I mean, it really is. Just the simpler it is. People think I'm dumb when I say we got to go back to go forwards, but like just simple things like that. Timothy's got an opinion on this. He thinks there needs to be new traditions. Like that's what makes the holidays fun sometimes is having these traditions. And he says like he wants a new like cultural tradition. Like, you know, it depends on where you grow up in the world. Christmas, they do things differently. He says maybe we need to start something new, kind of bring it back a little bit more to the symbolism of Jesus' birthday. He says, why don't we do something like everyone bakes an angel food cake at Christmas dinner or something to remind them, you know, the angels came to the shepherds, or, you know, Jesus' birth and things like that. So he kind of thought maybe we'd be in line for a new Christmas tradition in America. So you want a good report or good search to do sometime, find out what other countries do for Christmas. Sarah says there's a bunch of ladies from the Philippines that she works with, and they kind of celebrate October, November, and December. To them, it's like all the holiday season. They call it the Burr months because it gets colder, and they all end in Burr.
Starts in September. October, November, December.
See, now I could get down with that.
All those months.
I could get down with that.
Parades and festivals, dances.
4 months of
decorations.
Christmas celebration.
Yep.
Lord, you deserve that. Please, let there be a movement in America where we celebrate Christmas for 4 months. I'm down. When we come back, we are going to get into the good stuff that everyone wants to hear, our personal opinions on the best Christmas movies, Christmas music, and also the stuff we don't like. So find out if you agree with us or you disagree with us or what. Man, I hope you guys enjoy it. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Here we go. We are going to get into the last half of this holiday episode of the What Is Up podcast. This is where we no longer tell you about our boring family memories, but we're going to get into the controversial takes on Christmas movies and Christmas music. And I know these are hot button issues. Some people like this movie but hate that movie, and then they like this song but they hate that song. Well, you're going to find out where we stand and see if we all agree. We'll start with Christmas movies. And like I said at the beginning of the last episode, I've got the whole family here with me, except for Timothy. His agent wanted too much money for him to make an appearance here, so he gave me his notes. So I'll just read you his take on Christmas movies, and then you'll hear from us. Timothy believes that Home Alone 2 is better than Home Alone 1. He also thinks that Die Hard and Long Kiss Goodnight. He believes that Long Kiss Goodnight is better than Die Hard, and they are both Christmas movies. Now, I have an issue with that. Everyone says Die Hard's a Christmas movie. I put it like this. Just because it's set in Christmas, does that make it a Christmas movie? Most people would say, well, it has to. It's in Christmas. I say it like this. Would you watch Die Hard in July? Anybody?
I won't watch it anytime.
Okay. If you liked action movies, would you watch Die Hard in July?
Yeah, sure.
Die Hard.
Yes. Would you watch It's a Wonderful Life in July?
No.
Then Die Hard is not...
Family would.
Well, our family would because we're Christmas people, I guess. But
There's ducks in here. There's ducks in the... There's ducks in the room.
we got ducks. It's duck season in the basement.
Welcome to the duck call room.
It's getting late, folks. They thought we were going to slip into the basement and record this episode real quick. I was like, guys, I don't think you know how long it takes. And they're like me. When it's past their bedtime, they get a little loopy. Okay. All right. Back to my... I'm proving a serious point here. People debate about Die Hard or these other movies. Oh, no, it's a Christmas movie. It's set at a Christmas party. It's this and that. Okay. Would you watch Die Hard in July? Most people say yes. They would. Would you watch It's a Wonderful Life in July? No, of course not. My question is, why? Because It's a Wonderful Life is a Christmas movie. You only watch it around Christmas time. Die Hard, you'd watch any time of year. Therefore, not a Christmas movie. Best explanation you're ever going to hear. Don't let anyone talk you out of it. Sorry, Tim. Disagree. Okay. Now, my favorites are all of them. You guys know me. I'm like Rad said, I'm the unofficial Christmas guy of Northeast Iowa. I love them all. My favorites are The Family Man with Nicolas Cage. I love that. I'd love to say that I had turned down a very lucrative money-making career to choose my wife and my family. I chose my wife and my family, but I had no other choice anyway. But I still would have chose it, just like Nicolas Cage did in that movie. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It is awesome. The Family Man. It's a Wonderful Life. I love Jingle All the Way. Arnold Schwarzenegger going after that toy. Man, Four Christmases with Vince Vaughn. Awesome movie. Kind of got to watch it if you're watching it with younger kids. Got a couple grown-up parts in it. Daddy's Home 2, same thing. Hilarious. Love it. I don't think that has too much adult stuff in it. I like the Home Alones. I love A Christmas Story. And that's one of Timothy's other notes there is that he didn't really like A Christmas Story when he was younger. But he says as he's getting older, he's starting to appreciate it more and more. Which things change over time. Polar Express. Me and Sarah, and if you're our age, you understood like Polar Express. It was that book in the library. And when they came out with that movie, we're like, they're making Polar Express into a movie? No way. These kids today, they're spoiled. They've grown up with the Polar Express movie. So I love them all. I don't think I could rank them. If I had to, I'd probably have to say The Family Man and It's a Wonderful Life. They're right at the top. But I love them. I could watch any of them over and over and over again. The Santa Claus trilogy. My goodness, any of them other ones, it doesn't matter. Deck the Halls, I like that one. Danny DeVito, Matthew Broderick, I like that one. I like them all. They're all good. So what do you guys think? What do you like? What do you not like?
Oh, well, like you, there's really no Christmas movies that I don't like except one, but we'll get to that in a minute. But a few of my favorites, I would say, are It's a Wonderful Life, Christmas Vacation, I love that one. Four Christmases, Elf, and Daddy's Home 2 as well. And then I also like the Santa Claus movies, but I like the second and third one more than I like the first one.
Wrong.
Dad doesn't agree with me on that, but I like those two better than the original, but they're all good. And then I know all Hallmark movies are pretty much the same thing, but I still like them because the set is just so Christmassy and they're lighthearted and whatever. But there's one specifically that me and Dad both like, and we try and watch it every year, and that's The Most Wonderful Time of the Year is what it's called. And he got that for me on DVD. I don't know if it was last year, maybe the year before, but yeah, that's just one that for some reason it's a little different than the rest, so we like it. The only Christmas movie that I don't like that I've ever seen, and for some reason it's considered a classic, is Love Actually, and that is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Not just Christmas movie, it's just dumb, and I don't know. I have nothing good to say about it.
Don't a lot of people love that movie?
Yeah, that's why I said
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Don't. It's not worth it to even watch. And I won't say that about a lot of movies, even if they're not my favorite, because everyone has a different taste. But I know you would hate it, so it's just not worth it. And I know Timothy agrees with me on that. So, but yeah, that pretty much wraps up my movie opinions.
If you had to pick a favorite, what would it be? Or a top 2 or 3?
That's really hard. Well, It's a Wonderful Life for sure. Probably It's a Wonderful Life, Christmas Vacation, and then either Four Christmases or Daddy's Home Too.
Okay, so I have like a dislike and then like a like section, but also I have a section that's right in between, which there are only 2 movies in there. But first, the ones that I really like are The Grinch, Daddy's Home 2, the Santa movies, Elf, Christmas Story 1 and 2, and then Four Christmases. But the only Christmas movies I dislike are any Hallmark movies. I know they're just so cringy and
That's fair.
Yeah. And then the ones that are in between are, this is a hot take, but Christmas Vacation and It's a Wonderful Life. They're not that bad, but I would not pick to watch it if I had a choice.
And I told Grace that I think once she gets a little older, she'll appreciate them more. Yeah. So maybe that'll change.
I also forgot these 3 movies that I like. Polar Express, Home Alone, and the Arnold Schwarzenegger one.
Jingle All the Way.
Yeah, that one. But yeah, I like those ones too.
So my favorite as a kid. Wait,
Bro, again. Okay.
So, all right. No. So my favorite is Elf.
Oh, yeah.
Just funny. I got stage fright. Elf. My favorite is Elf.
That's your number 1.
Elf is my number 1. It's just funny, fun. Will Ferrell's funny. Good story. My favorite classic would be It's a Wonderful Life. Watched it a lot when I was little. Liked it then, but of course appreciate it now. Unpopular opinion, Home Alone, not my favorites. Don't care for any of them.
What?
How dare you? How dare you?
Yeah,
That's one of
what
my
the heck?
fondest childhood memories is sitting at my momo's after Thanksgiving, stomach on the floor, hands, elbows on the floor, face on my hands, watching Home Alone or Christmas Vacation. And you don't like either of them. 3 and on, garbage. We know that. 1 and 2, you don't get any better. JJ, please bring us back to reality. What do you got?
So actually, I kind of wanted to dive into the rabbit hole of Christmas sequels that no one really cares about, which is every Home Alone movie after Home Alone 2.
Yep.
What's the Arnold movie again?
Jingle All the Way.
Jingle All the Way 2.
Yeah.
And
no offense, Larry the Cable Guy, we love you, but movies not that good.
what Grace said earlier when she said A Christmas Story 2, that's actually the 3rd Christmas Story movie. There is a Christmas Story 2 that no one talks about.
Yeah. So yeah, Christmas Story 1, awesome. Christmas Story 2, they just tried to make it just like the first one. It just didn't work. And then the one that come out, what was that, last year? A Christmas Story Christmas, which is the original characters, 20, 30 years later. Very good.
And so the Home Alone movies, my family kind of hates me for this, but I think 1 and 2 are the best, and I think 3 is not far behind them. I love 3 so much.
The only kid in the world who thinks Home Alone 3 is good.
Tim thinks Home Alone 5 is good. Home Alone,
The Holiday
Holiday
Heist.
Heist. That's
Yeah.
terrible. And whatever the newest one is, that was terrible. It's a chubby British kid just beating up 2 adults who are trying to save Christmas. It's not very cool. But my favorite Christmas movies, Home Alone 1, 2, and 3. He's gonna reinstate Home Alone 3 is awesome.
Dude, your whole opinion is like climbing a tree with no branches. You keep saying the same stuff over and over. My favorite? Home Alone 1, 2, and 3. Hot take? Anything after 3 is not good. If I had to rank them, Home Alone 1, 2, and 3.
We're good.
You have to excuse them,
wasn't
folks.
even my
They don't
rank.
get behind a microphone very
That
much.
wasn't my ranking. My favorites, the Home Alones. The first 3, to be honest.
Still climbing that tree.
You weren't letting me finish. All right, the original Grinch, the cartoon.
Okay, the cartoon Grinch, yeah.
Polar Express and Jingle All the Way. My favorites. Never liked It's a Wonderful Life.
Not yet.
Never liked A Christmas Story. Yeah, I don't like them.
Yeah. Maybe you could shoot a gun better if you appreciated Ralphie's desire for that BB gun, huh?
When I shoot worse, he shot himself.
No.
I almost shot a person, but that's a different thing.
No, you did very good. You knew when to shoot. You did good.
That's what you think.
If you had kept swinging your gun towards the guy next to us, then we'd be in trouble. Yeah, but you didn't. Okay, on the Home Alone thing, before we move away from that, I don't know where I came across this. I don't know if it was a podcast or if I was doing some research, whatever. But it says if you think about Home Alone, think about that movie. When Kevin was scared and looking for hope, where did he go?
The church.
No, where did he go first?
Bed.
Yeah, he went under his bed. Where did he go for help? He went to the Santa, the shack or whatever, and he was looking for Santa to help him out, get his family back or whatever. And when that was no help, where did he go? He went to church, and he left church with the right answers about his family, about his life, and then he also left with the courage to take on the bad guys. Okay, we're going to take a break from that. I'm going to share a couple Easter eggs with you real quick. Both Christmas Vacation, and you remember that scene where Clark says, he grabs the railing, the little thing, the newel post, and it's loose, okay? And the movie Elf, when Buddy's on the bridge, those are both tributes to It's a Wonderful Life. If you remember It's a Wonderful Life, Bailey, every time he goes up the stairs, the newel post comes off. And then when George Bailey's on the bridge contemplating suicide, if you think about Elf, there's a scene where Buddy's actually on the bridge and he's looking down. That's supposed to be a tribute to It's a Wonderful Life. Little Easter eggs, huh? You pay attention, you might pick up on things like that. Okay? Anybody got anything else to say about movies before we move on to music when it's really going to get heated? No? Yeah, I think we get it, James. Home Alone 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Yeah, what was that? A couple years ago, I think it was during 2020 when we had to stop meeting for Awana. It was right around Christmas time. I had uploaded the entire Christmas program video from Awana from, I don't know, when you were little and Kendall was little. Remember when we did that big Christmas play, Mr. Barry's Christmas shop or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah, I uploaded that. So we have all these old home videos of Christmas programs and things like that. So if you want to check that one out, go to the Dunkerton First Baptist Church Dunkerton Awana Club Facebook page and just scroll back to 2020 in December, and you can watch a whole video of what one of those Christmas programs look like at First Baptist Church Dunkerton. It was awesome. Really good memory there. Okay, let's get into the music. We'll take care of Tim's first. This is when he said he had some, wasn't scathing, what was it? Searing hot takes, I think is what he said. Here's how he feels. Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas is top of the charts for him. He thinks it doesn't get any better. And if you listen to the episode of the podcast with Dan Cooper has a problem with Mariah Carey. And he's a band instructor. Okay? So Tim believes that is the ultimate Christmas song. That's it. And then he says when it comes to Bruce Springsteen's Santa Claus is Coming to Town, he says it depends on the day. It's either awesome and he's singing along with it in the car, or it's awful and he changes it right away. It just depends on his mood. I'm not a huge fan of The Boss, but I kind of laugh at him when he starts singing that song a little bit because it's not, when he's singing, it's okay, but then he's like, "Hey, band, what time it is?" And I just think, Bruce, you're trying too hard. I don't know how the world fell in love with Bruce Springsteen with stuff like that, but I guess they did. So, and then what did he say? Underrated songs would be All Alone on Christmas and 2,000 Miles. He says those are just highly underrated Christmas songs. I think he said one of those is it All Alone on Christmas is the one that they play during Home Alone 1 or 2, I think. And he said, yeah, that's just underrated. It just doesn't get the credit that it deserves for being a good one. So there's Tim's Christmas music takes. For me, it's just like the movies. You know what I mean? I love just about all of them. So I guess it's a little bit different than the movies. I love just about every movie. There is some music I don't. But like the most wonderful time of the year when that comes on, you instantly know that song. White Christmas, when that comes on, you just know it, love it. Rocking around the Christmas tree, beginning to look a lot like Christmas. No Place Like Home for the Holidays, Jingle Bell Rock, Holly Jolly Christmas, the Beach Boys, Little Saint Nick, or that Run Run Rudolph song. That one's good. Deck the Halls by Willie Nelson. Now, this is going back to when me and Sarah were living in the trailer. We had one Christmas CD, and there was like nobody on it that we knew, but Willie Nelson sang Deck the Halls. And so on our old home videos on Christmas morning, we're listening to Willie Nelson on Christmas morning. And I also like those orchestra type ones, the Trans-Siberian Orchestra and Mannheim Steamroller. I kind of like all of them, but I'm kind of old-fashioned. I like the hymns. I just like the good old-fashioned Christmas carols or the church hymns, like Silent Night, Hark the Herald, Angels We Have Heard on High, those cool Carol of the Bells type song. God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen, O Come All Ye Faithful, Away in a Manger, O Holy Night. I love that. Definitely one of my favorite songs, Lauren Daigle, Light of the World. I loved it. That last year, that was like my Christmas song. I liked it so much that I asked Jane Canfield, the one who picks all the music at church, I was like, you've got to get the girls, like Bridget and Hannah, Grace, you've got to get them. You've got to get the track for this song, and you've got to get them to sing it for special music on Christmas Eve. And they did. It was awesome. Lauren Daigle and that Light of the World Christmas song. Top notch. Doesn't get much better than that. Awesome. And then when I'm feeling really redneck, that Duck the Halls Christmas album. It does not get old. Ragin' Cajun Redneck Christmas. And then the military-themed one, Camouflage and Christmas Lights. Or they do that whole rendition of Deck the Halls, but they do it blowing through duck calls. It's really good. Huh? Yeah, you like that? With Psy doing the, yeah. And then there's one that I like that no one else does. I don't think any of you guys like this one. It's not even a song. It's called The Train by Celestial Navigations. And it's just...
No one else likes that. Really.
It's not a song, but it's just a guy on a train, and he relives a Christmas memory in his imagination of when he was a kid, and it was like Christmas Eve, and this fireplace was going at his parents' house, and all the family was, and it just, I don't know, it just warms my heart, I guess. Okay, what do you guys like for Christmas music? Now, don't tell me what you don't like. We're doing stuff we like so far. We're staying positive here. What do you like?
Again, kind of like you. I like a lot of them. I like the hymns, I like the classics, but I like some of the contemporary ones too. So I can't really pick any favorites. But one song that you had left out that I really like is The First Noel. That's a good classic hymn. Maybe you just forgot about that one. I don't know. And then a song that I feel like doesn't get enough credit is Go Tell It on the Mountain. It's so upbeat, kind of like Joy to the World, but I don't know. I think it's because it's older that people don't like it as much or something, or they forget about it. But I love when we sing that one in church. So, yeah.
Well, okay. So, I actually did write my dislikes, but I'm not going to say them.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet. I didn't really write any songs that I like because I like all songs, like all Christmas songs. But one that I have really liked this year and had never heard of since this year is Snowman by, I don't know how to say her name. By Sia. And it's I've never heard of it. I'm sure I have, but I've never really got into it till this year. So.
I'm with you guys, and I love all the old classics. Baby, It's Cold Outside, probably a favorite.
Yeah, Let It Snow. Yeah, I wasn't thinking of some of those. James, you got any songs you like?
Santa Claus is Coming to Town on top. Number 1. Only Christmas song I ever listened to. That's about it. Yeah, so another one of my favorite songs would be Carol of the Bells. I just think it's a classic. I don't know anyone who makes either of these songs, but I like them both.
Okay. All right, that's it for everybody? That's the songs that you like? Okay. It's taken a while, but we have gotten here. We got through memories, traditions, church stuff, Christmas Eve stuff, all that. We are now to the point of Christmas music that you dislike. And this is debatable, but my list is pretty solid. There are certain songs that when they come on, I instantly change it. I would rather listen to a commercial or an ad than to listen to these songs. Are you ready? Drum roll, please. Drum roll. Last Christmas by Wham. Terrible song. Terrible. Santa Baby, I don't care who's singing it. Nope, don't like it. Wonderful Christmas Time by Paul McCartney. Can't stand it. And don't give me that, but I'm one of the Beatles. I don't care. That song is terrible. It sticks in your head all day. Can't stand it. Now we're going to lighten it up just a little bit. Do They Know It's Christmas Time by Band-Aid. I could not stand it, but it is starting to grow on me just a little bit because it's one of the main songs in Daddy's Home Too, and there's a whole backstory behind it and all that stuff. But that used to be the same one. I would just turn it instantly. Couldn't stand it, but now I'm starting to open up. Number 1 most hated song. It is not the one that came out in the poll this year, which I believe was Christmas Shoes, because that song just makes you sad or whatever. So I get why people voted on that one. For me, number 1 most hated Christmas song of all time, Same Old Lang Syne by Dan Fogelberg. Who in their right mind writes a Christmas song about having an affair on Christmas Eve? And I did some research. I did a deep dive on Dan Fogelberg. True story. True story. He went off, got big or whatever in music, comes back to, I believe it was Peoria, Illinois, one year. I think it was 1980 or something like that. Bumps into his old high school girlfriend at the one convenience store that was open. His family sent him out for I can't remember. He went out for eggnog, and then her family sent her out for something else, and they both met at that convenience store, and he instantly is attracted to her and all this stuff, and oh my goodness. They wanted to catch up or whatever, so they couldn't find a bar to sit at, so they just got a 6-pack and actually drank it in his car. Who writes a Christmas song about wanting to have an affair on Christmas Eve? I don't know. And I shouldn't badmouth Dan Fogelberg. I think he passed away or whatever. So But yeah, that's my number one hated song. I listened to it and I'm just thinking, why is this played at Christmas time? Like, I guess it kind of reminds you of the one that, I guess in a way it shows you what's really important. So I should appreciate it. Oh, I just kind of thought of that on my own. But but when I hear it, I just think, oh, this guy would have like wrecked this woman's marriage. And, you know, she's got the whole grass is greener on the other side. I don't like it. But yeah, I guess he probably sees that, like, he wishes he would have like hung on to her instead of chasing his music career, I guess. So there you go. That's what I got, guys. What do you got?
Okay. Well, there's a few that I'm also not the biggest fan of. So mine, I also don't like Wonderful Christmas Time by Paul McCartney. Same reason you said. It's just kind of annoying and gets stuck in your head, so I usually skip that one. And then one that I've heard this year that I don't know if I'd ever heard before was Last Christmas by Taylor Swift. And I've heard it on the radio in the last month more than I ever have before. And I don't even think it's terrible, but I've heard it so much. I'm just kind of sick of it. And I like a lot of the Taylor Swift songs, but not that one. I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas. Annoying. Yeah, don't like it. Just annoying. Doesn't make sense. But the one I hate more than any other Christmas song ever is Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. The lyrics are stupid, the music is bad, and the singer is also annoying. So I just don't care if you like it or not. It's terrible. I don't want to listen to it. The Canfield Boys sing it frequently at church, and I just don't have the heart to tell them that I hate it so much. So maybe now they'll know, but they also have been trying to convince me the last couple of years to dislike Do They Know It's Christmas, but after watching Daddy's Home 2, I can't. Yeah. I hear the characters in the movie singing it. I don't even hear Band-Aid singing it. So that's it. That's it for me.
Actually, I had only written down Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer too. That was the only one I had written down. But then I thought of another one. All I Want for Christmas Is My Two Front Teeth. Oh, yeah. I thought about that one. That one kind of goes along with the hippopotamus one. They're kind of just, like, they're not really, in my opinion, songs. Like, they're just blabber.
Blabber. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sarah, what do you got?
I don't care for the Beach Boy song or the Paul McCartney song.
Whoa. Little Saint Nick, the Beach Boys one where...
Yes.
What? Why? It's so catchy.
I don't care for Paul McCartney. I'm with Bridget. I don't care for that one.
Yeah, I don't either.
But my absolutely least favorite is Mele Kaliki Maka.
Good pronunciation. You don't, probably because you just see Cousin Eddie when that song comes on, don't you?
I just don't care for that one.
Wow. JJ, you don't have it. You got one song you like and that's it. What is it? What is it? Santa Claus is coming to town, or Santa Claus by who? Not the Bruce Springsteen version. Okay. Wow. There you go. That is the Seaman family hot takes on Christmas music. Any last words, guys? No, we're done. We're done with the movies. Now, I know all of you guys listening, you may not celebrate Christmas the same way we do, and that's fine. I just thought this would be fun to share some of that stuff. To some people, Christmas is just about family time, presents from Santa, movies, music, good food, hot chocolate, Christmas decorations, music. And for the record, we love all those things too. We even enjoy the story of the real Saint Nicholas. If you've never actually looked it up, look up what happened, who Saint Nick was, and kind of how the whole Santa Claus thing got started, and just how far it's drifted from that. But let's not forget why Christmas is a holiday. You know, a holiday, that's a holy day to remember and celebrate something every year, and Christmas is one of those special ones. We're celebrating and remembering that Jesus coming down from heaven in a miraculous way to live among us. And boy, did he shake things up. The world has never been the same. I mean, we are still today talking about things that he said and he did. I mean, we're counting time by him, for crying out loud. You know, if you've ever wondered about that, BC, that's before Christ. AD, the years that we're in right now, Anno Domini, that's Latin for the year of our Lord. Okay? He obviously was a big person in history. Okay? We're counting time by him. And I don't know where you're at with Jesus, but I can promise you that the reason he came to this earth the way he did, it was for you. And it was for me. It was for all of us. You know what I mean? Would you leave a present under the tree if you saw your name on it? Of course not. So I'm begging you, I'm asking you, if you haven't already, seriously consider accepting the greatest gift any of us can ever receive. I'll tell you straight up, you don't deserve it. I know I don't deserve it. And you can't earn it no matter how hard you try. That's just not how it works. The definition of grace is getting something good that you don't deserve. And it's available to all of us who will put our faith in Jesus, in his life, in his death, and his resurrection. Before our earthly lives are over, we all have to answer that question. Who is Jesus? We all personally have to answer it. And you can reject him, or you can just think, yeah, I'm not sure about that, but I'm a pretty good person, or you can just say, yeah, I don't believe in any of that stuff. Okay? And then that'll be your answer. And you'll regret it. When your time is up, which you don't know when that's going to be, you'll regret it. The Bible says one day every knee will bow and every tongue will confess Jesus as Lord. Philippians 2:10 and 11. If you're in need of hope, Jesus promises love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control. Look around today. Where else are you going to find an offer like that? You got to look up. You're not going to find anything that good down here, I promise you. You know what I see when I look around today? You know what has me asking, what is up? Recently, it was the fact that a satanic temple display was approved and set up at the Iowa State Capitol building for Christmas. Yes, a temporary holiday season monument in honor of people being their own God and keeping a set of 7 tenets that will make them good people without believing in any religious ideas whatsoever. And did I mention it had a life-size statue of Baphomet, the goat-headed human-body creature that represents the Satanic Temple? What was my reaction when I read that or saw that? I thought to myself, what is up with that? Why would we celebrate Satan at Christmas? The explanation is that if we allow Christian nativities in the Iowa State Capitol building, then we must allow other religious displays, right? It's the First Amendment. It's the freedom of religion. The problem is that the Satanic Temple itself admits that it is not a religion, and it mocks all religions and all faiths. It doesn't believe in anything biblical, nothing supernatural. Yet they're named after a fallen angel from the Bible. What is up with that? It claims to be an anti-religion. So what business does it have applying for a religious display in the Iowa State Capitol building? Well, it didn't last long. A man by the name of Michael Cassidy must have been thinking the same thing before he tore it down. And he was charged with 4th-degree criminal mischief. And his response? He posted one Bible verse after being charged. 1 Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. Now, I've studied what members of the Satanic Temple believe, and they want us to think that it's not about worshiping Satan, that it's actually about being good people, not harming others, and that it has no belief in any religion or higher being. Well, the Bible says that everyone will have a God. We'll either worship the one true God or the God of self, plain and simple. So even though they claim not to worship Satan or even believe in Satan, they're actually doing that very thing. They're doing exactly what Satan wants, to think that they're just fine the way they are. And if they truly don't believe in him, why then did the Satanic Temple of Iowa, in response to the vandalism of their display, why did they put on their Facebook page in response, they concluded a message that said, "Happy Holidays, Hail Satan"? What is up with that? Satan is indeed prowling around like a lion, looking for people to devour and deceive. But you see, sometimes it's not so obvious. Sometimes choosing good and evil, it's not so obvious. It can be very subtle, very deceptive. It can even look like it's good and right. But you can protect yourself from anything that he can do to you. 1 John 4:4 says, "Greater is he who is in you than he who is in the world." But you see, that promise is only for those who have put their faith in Jesus and are following him. So I'm asking you again, have you done that yet? Have you unwrapped that awesome gift? If you're listening to this, then there's still time. Maybe now is the time for you. Maybe you were supposed to hear this message today, which started off a fun holiday episode. Maybe you were supposed to hear this message right now at the end on this podcast at this exact time. That's how God works. Make today that day that you put your faith and trust in Jesus. He is worth it. He's worth all of it. And he will show you what is up. So this Christmas, I hope you enjoy special time with family and friends and keeping your holiday traditions. And if you want to make your Christmas celebration even more special, be sure and find time to remember and celebrate the miraculous birth of the Savior of the world with your church family. Now, if you don't have a church family, well, then I tell you what, you are welcome to join me and my family and our church family at First Baptist Church in Dunkerton, or go to the closest church, closest Bible-believing church in your area, and see if they're doing anything for Christmas Eve, and go and celebrate Jesus, okay? We've been doing our tradition for years. Our church is 150 years old. We still do it the old school way, with an old school candle lighting, brown paper sack goodie bags, sing some Christmas carols. I'm sure Pastor Micah is going to give a good message that is going to hit the mark. So in closing, man, I want to thank you guys for your support this year. I hope you have a Merry Christmas, and Lord willing, I'll talk to you on the next one.